The question is to find out the consumer surplus. We have a demand function which is P is equal to 110 minus Q square. P is the price, Q is the output, and market equilibrium is attained at point P naught is equal to 29 and Q naught is equal to 9. We need to calculate the consumer surplus. Options are being given. So this is our demand function. P is equal to 110 minus Q square. Equilibrium price is 29. Equilibrium quantity at that very price is 9. And we need to find out the consumer surplus. If I draw a simple graph, here we have output on the horizontal axis, price on the vertical axis. So we have this demand function which is, quadratic one. So let me draw the positive quadrant only. So it will be like this. Okay, this is our demand function, and we are being told that equilibrium is attained when P naught, which is equilibrium price, is 29 and Q naught, which is 9 units. Okay, so this is our P naught, this is our Q naught, and we are supposed to find out the consumer surplus. Now what is consumer surplus? It is the difference between the price that the consumer is willing to pay for a product and the price he is actually paying for the product. Graphically, it is simply the area which is above the equilibrium price and below the demand function. So the area of this region will be our consumer surplus. We cannot use here the basic algebraic method here, because we don't have linear demand function. We have quadratic demand function. So this time we are supposed to use the definite integrals in this question. Okay, now consumer surplus will be equal to the definite integral of demand function from 0 to equilibrium quantity and the definite integral of 110 minus Q square. Sorry, let me put it like this. Consumer surplus is the definite integral from 0 to equilibrium quantity of demand function with respect to output, and then we subtract the total expenditure. Okay, having said that, so consumer surplus will be equal to, so we have 0 to what is equilibrium quantity, that is being given us as 9. Then we have 110 minus Q square, and we integrated with respect to Q. Okay, so this is one thing. From this we subtract the total expenditure, that will be the equilibrium price times equilibrium quantity. Okay, so let us solve it now, and I have the space here. So consumer surplus will be equal to, so let us integrate it. The integral of 110 is 110 Q minus integral of Q square is Q cube upon 3 by power function rule of the integration, and we evaluate it from 0 to 9, and then we subtract from it the total expenditure, that is P naught times Q naught. P naught is 29, Q naught is 9. Okay, I have the space, and let me put the space here. Okay, let me use it. So consumer surplus will be equal to, now we evaluate these terms at upper limit first, then subtract and evaluate them at the lower limit. So we have 110 times the upper limit is 9 minus Q cube means 9 cube, so that is 9 into 9 upon 3, and then we subtract it and evaluate it from lower limit. Okay, so lower limit is 0, so it will become 110 times 0 is 0. This is also 0 cube upon 3, so we will not write that very step, and we subtract this. 9 9s are 81, 9 2s are 18 at the so which is 261. Okay, I hope I am making myself clear. So let us do the calculation. So we have 9 zeros are 0, 9 ones are 9, 9 ones are 9, minus here we get 3 ones are 3 3s are 9, so we get 9 9s are 81, into 3, so we have 81 into 3, which is 3 ones are 3, 3 eights are 24, then we have 261. So consumer surplus is equal to 990 minus, so here we have 4, this is 504, so consumer surplus will be equal to 986. Consumer surplus will be equal to 986. Okay, so let me explain it here, what is meant by this graphically. So graphically, since we are supposed to find out the area of this red region, so this term shows us the area of this whole region up to Q, that is if I can draw it correctly here. So first we have this demand function. Okay, first thing is we integrate it from 0 to 9, that is first we find out the area of this whole region. Okay, from this we subtract the area of this region. Okay, so we let me put it in the context. So then when we subtract this region, so what we will be left with, English is nar, so we will be left with that very region. Okay, when we subtract from this region, this rectangular region, we will be left with this region.